Because I know their names.
Welcome to Coffee and Candor. This is Amber.
This is Chris, and it's funny that you did that while she was still talking.
Well, I saw you hit play.
She's like, shut the fuck up, Brandy. Anyway, Ross.
This is Ross.
And this is Brandy. But you knew that, didn't you?
This gift here.
Yeah, because I'm the talent.
That's right, so I'll just shut the fuck up and you carry this motherfucker.
Jeez.
Don't I always?
No, you absolutely don't.
Oh my god.
Ba-dum-bum.
Can you quit screwing everything on the table?
Bitch.
Did you say screwing everything on the table? What
That's
the fuck?
you.
I didn't even see that
Here we
happen.
go.
Okay,
that must have been quick.
Here we go.
Ross is over here in this blankie. Okay. I don't even know. My shop.
Oh my god, she's got dildos on her damn.
Jesus Christ, on a cracker? Are you on Wish.com with
No,
the fucking
I
3-foot
have a
dildos?
list for shopping, and apparently the thumbnail is dildos. I know. I was doing
list for
Shopping.
There was other.
essentials.
There aren't even dildos on
I don't need to see it. I don't need to see it.
It's made-
Nay, I don't want to see it.
There are no dildos on this list. I don't know why the thumbnail.
These are just the
is-
rabbits
Anyway,
Lord.
so what we gonna
YouTuber
and butt
bitch.
plugs.
what we gonna talk about now? I'm in the wrong list. She's in.
Wait a minute and a half into this ain't said shit.
Yeah, I think you kind of got sidetracked there, man.
That never happened. Shut up.
We don't
Okay.
ever squirrel.
So anyway, this bitch, it's a couple, and I've got to catch myself on that because I keep putting all the onus on the woman, and
Yeah.
that's not fair. This is a married couple that did this. They went into this together, so they're both equally
Right, combined
responsible.
effort.
Yeah. So these bitch is because he a bitch too.
Yep.
Their names are Micah and Jim
I
Stouffer.
really hate it when I say bitch and people automatically assume
Yeah,
we're talking
I-
about a woman.
I
That's
call you bitch
absolutely
all the time, yeah.
Wait, thanks. When I call someone a bitch, gender has nothing to do with it.
You my bitch.
No, the fuck I'm not.
Yeah, you one of my
No,
bitches.
I am not.
You my bitch.
You stop it.
I don't mean like my
Oh
bitch.
my god.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, so what these people, okay, she had been a mommy blogger. And that's
fuck
what I
is that?
That's what
What
I was
is that?
wondering.
like
Just-
where she came from. It's like,
Just raising kids, what she does as a mother.
Like,
Oh, you
doing
mean so what she does day to day?
yeah, just kind of talking
Okay.
about like
That's
the
what I was wondering if she
issues.
was like a family YouTuber.
Yeah, she started as a mommy blogger. So
Would that be considered lifestyle?
I think, because she was talking about
I guess. I mean,
with the
that's her
kids and
lifestyle.
and the family and just the whole. I think maybe they homeschool. I'm not
They
sure.
I know from that picture they seemed fake as hell.
Oh yeah, they just reek of it. First of all, the video. I'll get back to that. But anyway, they started as a mommy blogger, but they did not really have much of a following. Like, I think I heard less than 5,000 followers, maybe like 4,000, which is really not much. I got more than that on my art page, and I'm a shitty artist. So, and apparently they weren't new either. So the people that knew them kind of knew this was like a concentrated plan. This was not, they like to present this like them adopting this little boy from China.
Now, real quick, they have 4 kids, right?
They did not when they started this.
I know, but like before this happened, they had 4.
No. They only had...
I thought the picture I saw was them and 4 kids.
They do, but they've had this little boy so long, they had 2 of the children after.
But that's what I'm talking
wow.
like, how many kids total?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you were saying
Because
like...
I was wondering, was he the only adopted? Was the
Yes.
3? Okay.
She has a child from a previous marriage, and then they married, and they have 3 children together. The latest one is just an infant, and the little boy. Here's the first.
So they've had 5 altogether?
Let me pull it up to make sure. I don't want to tell lies.
I was just wondering if he was the only one that was adopted.
But he is the only, and
Okay.
she makes a deal out of that. I've never heard anybody do that really before. Like, I went through, deep dived on her social media, like her Facebook and her Instagram, and when she would do a picture, she would tag it, and she would actually say, "Our bio daughter versus this kid."
That's awful.
Yeah, like Right there,
If they're your kids,
they're your kids. It doesn't matter.
Just like if you get married and you both have kids, it's
Right.
like these are my kids and these are my stepkids.
Well, yes,
they're all
children.
your children.
But see, in her mind, she has to create that separation, so it makes it easier for her to kick the kid to the curb.
Micah Stauffer, how many kids? I want to make sure I was telling you right.
Like with my brothers and sisters, I don't say my half sister.
No,
my
we
half,
never.
It's
And-
just brothers and
And
sisters.
I grew up with half siblings and stuff, but we never did that. That was because, like you said, it doesn't matter.
Maybe it's because I don't have any like full brothers and sisters. I don't know.
I don't think so. So yeah, they now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But now she, with the little adopted boy, but now she's edited all her social media. She's a mother of 4. So anyway, it was not an organic thing, like one of these things that just happens. They started researching, and they were researching ways to build a following on social media. And one of those ways was to I want to publicize the same word, but like basically take your followers with you through a journey of adoption, especially an overseas adoption. Mm-hmm. And so they were like,
So they did this just to get followers.
yeah.
Wow.
And so she started this, and she started it, and she started putting it out there that they were wanting to adopt overseas because that would be faster. Because, time is of the essence. We got to make that money. Mm-hmm. And,
wow.
so then...
Well, and they also get to virtue signal like that.
Yeah. You haven't even touched the beginning of their virtue signaling.
Nice.
It's so dirty and gross. Okay. So then they find out, well, even with getting an overseas adoption, it's still a process. And I mean, most people know that because you've seen people do it, and it's not a quick thing. So then they're like, well, how can we make it faster? Well, you could take it faster by taking a child that's been passed on by other people because they have significant health issues, whether that be mental, emotional, physical, blah, blah, blah.
Whoa. So they knew this child had autism.
Yeah. That wasn't a surprise. Oh,
Okay, because the way I saw it played was that they got this child and then discovered it.
They
had
tried to say that, but there has
autism
been detailed research that proves, and by proves, I mean they videoed themselves saying it in the past.
Wow.
And then go back and go, we didn't know, but...
See, I read something, and I haven't looked into it that much, but I read something saying they knew he had problems, but they didn't know that
It was so bad.
Severe.
Right.
Yeah,
that's how they're trying to spin it now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But anyway, so I watched a video where somebody had taken and done like a reel of like before they had even said this child, she was trying to figure out how she could get it the fastest and how to make the biggest impact. So she's like, we started talking to doctors. We started talking to doctors about different birth defects and problems. And because she was apparently a nurse, but it sounds like she mostly didn't nurse.
Shitty nurse.
Well, I don't think she had much of a nursing career, is what I'm getting at. Wow. She was a mom.
Probably had a little bit of training and dropped out.
Yeah, or something like you worked a year. I don't know. Anyway, she did work as a nurse at some point, but it wasn't like she tried to put it out there
what wasn't any kind of expansive career.
Yeah, like a career. When maybe it was like I got a job as a nurse. It wasn't for me. I'm a mommy blogger now. But anyway, so she started talking to doctors, and she was like, since I've had this extensive nursing career...
Which is a lie.
Right. We feel like out of all the different birth defects and problems that a child would have, there's probably only 1 out of 100 that we would not be okay with.
Oh, I bet that's wrong.
Yeah. That's important.
And they thought that autism was one of the ones they could deal with easily.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Ooh, they didn't research that worth a shit.
Well, I saw someone comment on your post, and yeah, we know somebody who she could deal with it about a child that she took.
Oh yeah, we took that to private message and continued that. Yeah, somebody from that church we don't talk about.
It's brand new.
But anyway,
I'm sorry, was that a secret?
Yeah, it was a secret. But anyway, so they researched all these conditions, and they were like, "No, we feel like, we're comfortable with all this." So,
and how old was he when they adopted him?
He was 2.
Okay.
He's 4 now. They've had him for 2 years. And that's another thing. She made it seem like this is just not a good fit. But that's not how it went at all. So anyway, she films the process. Like, she's telling this child's medical stories on her blog long before she's ever got custody of him, which, I mean, we all know that's not okay. Like, if you have a foster kid, you can't show their pictures on social media. That's just, I mean, duh.
Yeah.
She was telling his sensitive medical information, his, like, the neurological testing he'd had, some of his diagnoses, talking about, and I mean, this was before she'd ever met him, before they'd ever applied. I mean, so she fixated on this little boy, knowing his problems. I personally think she thought it was going to get her more attention. And
so, what problems did she say she knew about?
they knew he was autistic. They knew
That's a significant fucking problem.
Well, and it's also
not problem.
Yeah,
but you know what I
significant
mean.
disability.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And it's also, it's a spectrum. You know, some
Oh,
kids,
definitely.
you know, I'm a little on the spectrum. And that's okay. It is a wide spectrum. And some people are functional, some people are not. Some people that, you know, you just don't know how it's going to go.
And I tend to believe that, at least to a degree, people on the spectrum, that shifts based on
age and
on a variety of factors, but I think that moves back and forth across
that
the spectrum.
target, yeah.
It may not be a whole lot, but it's
with
certainly
therapies, things
a
can
moving
get better,
target.
and you know, learn teaching
I think
them.
age probably is the biggest
different
factor.
God, where to start with the things she did that pissed me off? So she is filming everything before they even have him. She crowdfunds
Oh, that's gross.
for the adoption fees.
Of course.
So they didn't pay for his adoption out of pocket. That's problem one. She monetizes all these videos about him long before she was ever his custodian, which I think is a problem. Then his gotcha video, which was the video that was a big deal, I think it had 45 million views.
Wow.
They made almost $50,000 off of his gotcha video.
What is a gotcha video?
Like when they got him.
Like when they actually,
okay.
you know, got to take him home.
Yeah, no, all right, that makes sense.
And some people do it with their pets, you know, whatever. Which is funny because they kind of treat him like a pet. She made almost $50,000 off that video alone.
Damn.
From what?
Views off YouTube. She monetized those videos.
Oh my God.
And she did a lot of crowdfunding saying that they didn't have insurance, which people have now researched and found out is a lie, because the first thing that those overseas adoption places are going to make sure of is that you've got insurance, because, you know, these children, most of them have...
They're going to need...
Right, they're going to need care. You know, it's not going to be one doctor visit a month kind of thing or whatever.
Well, and the idea of a crowdfunding, if you can't afford the adoption fees, you don't need to adopt somebody.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, because then you can't afford to take
care of
them.
what their needs are going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially a special needs child that's going to need therapies, both emotional, physical, all kind. You know. So anyway, she crowdfunds for the adoption fees. Then she monetizes all the videos, talks about, you know, his identifying like medical information, you know, HIPAA shit, like before
that you're not supposed to tell
before
everybody.
she even has custody of him,
which is actually against the law.
right? And then monetizes.
Actually, if she doesn't have custody of him, it's against the law for her to know that shit.
Yeah.
And then much less put it on a public forum.
Yeah.
Then she's making money off of all these before she has him. Then she crowdfunds for the adoption fees. Then she starts telling people that once they get him, that he has to have all this therapy, and autism is excluded from their policy. Well, she starts with saying
I bet it's not.
It can't be. That's a law.
Well, then I'm sure it's not.
But not only that, she tries saying they don't have insurance for him,
Which turned out to be a lie.
Yeah. Then when people were like, they wouldn't eventually ever have him, then they were like, well, but it's excluded. And then people were like, it can't be.
Yeah. No, you're lying again.
Oh, your mouth is open. Are you lying? And so she raised money. She had like at this point, she's got like 700,000 subscribers. She went from 4,000 all on the back of this baby. That was the focus of all these videos. And so then